Okay, so once we have this step completed, we will remove the plate. Now, your clay still might be a little soft. If it is too wet and it doesn't hold the shape at all, I'll show you a couple of things. But let's look at this from a different angle. And you can see that it should kind of be a little bit curved up. If you want it to be curved up more after we add the little stands or the little feet, we can use some newspaper to prop it up a little bit more if we want to. But if it's way too wet and it just flops straight back down instead of having a little bit of a curve, come see me and we might have to wait a little bit or do something else to help it dry a little bit more. Okay, so let's get to creating our little feet. So what we are going to do is you're just going to take some of your extra clay, create a coil. Probably don't need this much. And we call these feet, just like, you know, you put shoes on your feet. But what they are, they're just little a raised ledge for this to stand up, okay? So you won't need these to be very tall. You might choose to create 4 little legs or 4 little feet, or you might choose to make 3 that's more like a tripod. It's kind of up to you. And I mean, I guess you could probably do about 2 of them if you wanted to, but what you need to make sure is that it will support this here, okay? So once you have a coil made, and mine might be a little thin, we'll see here though. Decide on if you're gonna have 3, if you're gonna have 4. So I'm gonna divide mine just to start. I might just do 3, but I might decide I like 4. So I'm gonna just cut those out. And I'm just loosely measuring these so they're kind of even. Okay. All right. So now we are ready to start attaching. So when you attach these, we need a couple of things, okay? So remember, we are going to do a process that is called slipping and scoring. We did not do that for this process of attaching the coils. So I'm actually going to flip this over. And when I flip this over, I don't want this to lose its shape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use my little plate here. You could ball up a piece of newspaper if needed, and I'm gonna just kind of set it upside down like this, okay? So then I'm gonna figure out where am I going to attach these. So I can tell right now these are all gonna be way too tall for what I want. So I'm gonna do this in one little section here. And I'm actually gonna cut them in like half. Okay, that might be more of what I want. These might even still be a little too tall. All right, so I'm actually going to kind of make them a little bit fatter by pressing them down. And these don't have to be perfectly the same, just kind of similar. All right, so now what I'm going to do to attach is I'm going to kind of figure out where I want those to go. Now, if you're not sure before you attach them, what you can do is go ahead and just carefully flip this over. Just put one underneath and set this on top to see how high it will sit off the ground, okay? You gotta be careful. You see I kind of got a little bit of a crack there. So just be very careful as you do this. I'll be able to fix that though. All right, so the process of scoring, what we are going to do is creating lines in different directions. I like to use this serrated tool to create lines and just scrape it up this way. Sometimes this tool is really nice too, just to kind of make some marks going in both directions, okay? So before I attach that there, I need to take my slip cup. If this, for some reason, is kind of dried out, add more slip to it, or if there's just dried clay in it, add some water and soften that up. So I'm just going to dab a little bit on here. You can use a finger or something like a paintbrush if you want to. And I am going to gently press, okay? Gently press into that. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do that 4 more times because like I said, I'm going to do a four-legged one a little bit. And actually here where I kind of made that little crack area, I'm actually going to patch that up real quick so that it doesn't create me more problems later. All right, so let's slip and score to attach. Okay, so from here, remember this is going to kind of be the back side, so we're not really going to see any of it. So you can see if these look a little wonky, it's actually probably going to be okay. All right, so we are carefully going to flip this over. So what I would recommend doing is, once again, don't just grab it off. Support underneath like this, and then flip it over like that. And then as we put this down, you can gently, and if it falls down, if it flops that down, that probably means your clay is still a little too wet, okay? But what we want to just make sure is that these are, I'm just kind of wiggling it on the table so that it flattens down, okay? And now, you know what? I should have had you do one more thing before we flip this over. So before you flip that over, one thing that you need to do is write your name on the back side of it just by carving into it, okay? So carefully now, I have this. And if anything starts to sag or come apart or isn't the shape that you want, this is now, and I'm going to switch the angle. So you can still see mine has a little bit of a curve. So what we can do is we can actually add some newspapers underneath of it if I want it to curve up a little bit more. So let's take a look at how that might look. So just a little bit of newspaper. And if you do this, you maybe want to put this on your board or your tray, because after this part, we are going to set these out to dry. Okay. So just putting that little bit of newspaper underneath of it is making it a little bit more raised. And it has just a little bit more of an extra curve, okay? So that's kind of how it will look when it is done. When you are ready to finish this and let it dry, you need to come show me and I will show you where we are going to put these to dry.